now it's what I do, is I am the office manager in my dad's dental office while going to school full time to be a social worker. But there is so much lack of social workers' help, especially with this disease, that it's not known. They do not know what it is. Social workers can't help because they don't know what the disease is, let alone getting in contact with the social worker. The social worker, the only way, I've talked to all my professors, everybody at Pitt who's ranked 11th in the nation for social worker, about how to deal with somebody in chronic pain that you don't know and they need help from a social worker. They say you need to get admitted to a hospital. If you get admitted to a hospital in an area such as Pittsburgh, they still don't know it. They don't know what to do. And that's what how education is so important. And the only way that, besides getting admitted to the hospital, is having your doctor write a prescription or a referral to a social worker, or if you have a home care nurse coming. That's it. You can't just call, you can't just make a call, I need a social worker, because of the issue of age. There are services and agencies in every state for children that you're living with your family, and they will come into the house. However, most of us are not between the ages of 0 and 18 or 65 and older. That's where that's how you get services. There is nothing. There are no agencies that provide services for the average age that everybody does get CRPS. And that's a big problem. What my goal is to have, I want a new type of social work. There needs to be a new type out there that they only deal with people in chronic pain, not just CRPS. There's other conditions. I could go on and list 1,000 of them. But they need to learn about it. They need to be educated on so they can help you. Because social workers, their main thing is they want you to help yourself. And if you can't even get out of bed, how are you going to help yourself? We need a new type of social worker that's actually going to help you. What they want, social workers want to do is they want empowerment. We want them to help ourselves, if you can. But their big thing is keeping the family together. And that is what they want to do. They do provide therapy. They will come in the house, but it's so infrequent that it's not even relevant at this point. To help yourself, just some things that you can do. Applying for disability. Some people do not know that this is a chronic condition. Yes, maybe you never worked before. That's okay. You still can through Social Security, you can apply for disability. Through DHS, and maybe it's different state by state what it's called. If you are a child or if you're older, there are services. There is an in-home nursing. But yes, it's money involved, and a lot of insurance don't cover it. And having someone to care for you, there's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing. And trust issues is another thing. How do you know who to trust when doctors don't even know what's going on in Pittsburgh? I mean, and no doctor can say they know everything. So we're still learning. And just more and more problems. There's not contact even between like your regular doctor and your pain management doctor. There's just so much lack of knowledge, and that's what I want to do. I have to spread awareness and help others get to the point where I am. There's differences state by state. Just like I said, there's one doctor in Pittsburgh. There's one. He gives 1 milligram of Ativan every 12 hours. He titrates you up to 40 milligrams. Sometimes you don't get that high. Inpatient, no boosters. I will not go there. It's not an option. At this point, I do not need it. but there may become a time that I do. But I run a support group, ages teen to 30, that Nancy helped me and someone else start up, that is on Facebook, that we help so people in our age group can get help and relate to each other. Because at such a young age, you do not understand. Nobody understands. And being able to have someone your age that understands is, I can't express enough how helpful that is, especially for someone being younger. And that, I really don't have much else. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Probably isn't, but don't want to make it too long. I know it's been a long day for everybody.
Great job. I should. I have.
I think everybody here knows who I am, but just in case you don't. I'm Nancy Patterson. I run 2 different support groups on Facebook. I've had CRPS for 17 years. And I'm gonna make this good. Yeah. So I asked people within the different groups, what did they want me to talk about? There we go. So these were the 3 things that people came up with that they wanted me to talk about. First one is attitude. And to me, attitude is everything. If you sit at home, feel sorry for yourself, and you're not going to help yourself at all. I forgot I had this one. I have no memory. It's really important for us to go through this journey with CRPS with a positive attitude. That does not happen overnight. It takes time and it takes a lot of work. But to me, as far as this goes, attitude is everything. Once y'all have a pad of paper and pen, and anybody who's in K Club knows that I do this periodically. What good things have come to you because of CRPS? You maybe just like a couple minutes to write them down, and there are good things. I know you can think of them. Yeah.
Great friends.
Okay, good. Yeah?
A better relationship with myself.
Good. Anybody else have any? Yes. Helping others. Good. Very good. Anybody else have something you want to share? Yeah?
I've slowed down.
Yeah. For me, and this is just a couple of them, I become a stronger person. I've met really wonderful people who I otherwise would not have met. I've actually been able to use my nursing education. I don't know if everybody knows, but I went back to school as an adult. I got my associate degree in '91 and had my car accident in '96. So there wasn't a whole big long time that I was doing patient care. I did work for the next 5.5 years afterwards in an administrative position. But social media and through contact, talking on phone with people, I have been able to use that education, which for a long time I thought was for naught. I also know that life can change in an instant. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. My life plan was, because I got married early, to have kids early, and then we would still be young enough when they were out of the house to do all these things. Well, obviously that did not happen, because before they got out of the house, I got CRPS. Just like in the death of a person, you go through stages of grief. You go through stages of grief for the loss of your former life. The first part is denial. You know, this isn't me, I don't have CRPS. Then you get angry. Why me? And then this is where a lot of us get stuck, is depression. A lot of people think that it is the depression that's causing the pain as opposed to the pain that's causing the depression. But either way, we know that it was the pain first and the depression. I think it's really, really, really important to see a therapist who specializes in chronic pain. Because for me, that was where I got to acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean that you give anything up. It just means that you understand that this is something that you need to do, and that you're going to live with for the rest of your life, and you need to make a new normal for yourself. There are events that can trigger a regression back to an earlier stage, things like anniversaries of the date of whatever it is that caused it. But hopefully then, with the help and support of others, you can get back to a better state. I choose to be positive, and I choose to surround myself with people who are positive. I've never talked about CRPS with my mom. My mom's feeling on this was that on March 4th, 1996, my life ended. Well, if I had that attitude, then I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing now. So I just do not bring that subject up in any way, shape, or form with her. And nurses are patient advocates. However, I got my education on advocacy long before I went to school. The definition of an advocate is a person who argues for or supports a cause or policy, a person who works for a cause or group, and the latter part about a court of law does not apply to us. You need to be your own advocate. You need to learn as much as you can about CRPS. You need to know that insurance companies try to deny things thinking that you aren't going to appeal, that you don't know that there is a process that you can go through. Fortunately, that 5.5 years that I worked doing administrative work, my job was to get nursing paid for by insurance companies. So I spent a lot of time fighting them. And that's what we need to do. We need to fight with insurance companies, workmen's compensation, or whatever entity is denying you the service that you need. Education. Part of being an advocate is educating those around you, your family, your friends, and as Jess talked about, that's one of the things that her friends are doing now. You also need to educate the medical community. I have had so many people tell me, it's in my head. Where is it? It can't be anywhere other than in one location. My best one was somebody told me if they injected dextrose, which is sugar water, into the scars on my foot, that they could cure my RSD. I ran out of there really fast. And more importantly, I'm also educating your family and friends. The last thing I was asked to talk about was being a parent when you have CRPS. I was already a parent when I had it, so I didn't have any choice. I mean, it was there. Kim was born blind, which by 6 weeks of age, she was diagnosed. At that time, I went to Wills Eye Hospital here in Philadelphia. The doctor did, some testing on her, came in, handed me a piece of paper which had a diagnosis on it, and walked out of the room. I was still sitting there, and the nurse comes in and says, "You're done." And I'm like, "No, I don't. I have a question." So he came back in, and he said, "There's nothing we can do. Go home, deal with it, and I'll see her when she's walking." He told me that there would be no developmental delays. Fortunately, I have two friends who were special ed teachers. Got on the phone, found out that that was not the case, and got her into an infant STEM program before she was 3 months old. So all the way through her life until she was on her own, I've been her advocate. In school, making sure that she could get into activities. For instance, the YMCA would not give her swimming lessons because they thought she was too much of a liability. And this was a mom-baby class. This was not, here I want her to have swimming lessons. I wanted her to be safe because we had a pool. My mom had a pool. Ended up having to pay for a private person to come and work with her. So she's where I got my experience as an advocate, like I said before, I went to nursing school. For people who have CRPS before their parents, should they go on and have a child? Well, this is a personal decision, but I've spoken to people who have children after they've developed CRPS, and they have not had any difficulty caring for their child. As most of you know, we had a baby this year. Well, when she was pregnant, all the people who were not necessarily on her supportive side said, "How can you bring a child into this world if you can't see?" And fortunately, she knew better than to listen to that. She does things a little bit differently than a sighted person would with him. But in no way, shape, or form does that prevent her from being a good mom. I have 3 sources here on studies that were done about pregnancy, and I've talked to a lot of people through CRPS Partners in Pain and through Facebook. And some of them find that the hormones of pregnancy and breastfeeding do reduce their pain. Others do not. And the others that did not were on opiates through their pregnancy. So I'm not sure if that negated what might have happened naturally. Big question, how will I take care of the baby? Yes, there'll be difficult days, and there's difficult days for any parent. But if you've had this long enough and you know how things work for yourself, how to pace yourself, which is something that took a long time for me, then there is not a reason why, if that's what you want, you should do. I find personally that the pure joy of having Ian around helps me forget about the pain. And Kim wanted me to be sure to say that I, for several weeks at a time, have been his primary caregiver when she was at work because of issues with child care. I get down on the floor with him, I play with him. The minute he takes a nap, I sit, I put my feet up. So the fact that I have had 17 years of practice before he was born and knew how to pace myself has helped. And last but not least, there he is. So that is it for me. So if you got, yes.
Quick question.
Sure.
Are there cases where the woman was in remission or was doing quite well with CRIPS, had a child, and reignited the CRIPS?
I have not talked to anybody that's been the case. Usually it's the other way around. That while they were pregnant and breastfeeding, their pain was reduced.
Low battery, but I got
that
all of
doesn't
it.
mean that it doesn't happen. I have people who have gotten CRP